Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Jesse, pleased to be joined today by Jarod. Jarod, he's one of my favorites. Jarod, you're like one of my favorite people in this town.
Thank you.
I enjoy this guy
Thank you.
tremendously. Relatively new to the area.
You poor tortured soul. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, you're like as weird and twisted as I am. So.
Okay. I guess that's why we get along.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah.
So we're here today to tell Jarod's story. Jarod's left. Jarod has lived an interesting life, military service, combat, time in West Virginia where he's from, somehow decided to move here to Vilcabamba, Ecuador. So here to tell his story today. So thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, not a problem. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I don't know what you would call it. I've had one of the past years that was kind of rough on me. At home, lost my job, homeless. Jobless, sold everything I have, lost everything. So sold everything I had left, came here, and it was wild because I was looking for originally just a place on the beach, like some fishing village in the middle of nowhere. Nicaragua was where I was originally looking for, and you know, a place where the dogs can run and you know, for miles and not have to worry about anything, and you know, go to the cantina once a month and call home, say, yeah, I'm still alive, kind of thing. And then was looking at properties, and I ran across one of yours, and then I saw a video with Carl, and it's kind of got hooked from there because, well, he spoke English, and it's kind of the real deal. And yeah, here I am. It was a rough road for me the past year, and since I've gotten here, many good things have happened. Many very good things have happened. Yeah,
it's and I do want, you know, we'll get into all that stuff too, and I want to jump back a little bit, just kind of into the earlier part of your life. But it's really been interesting for me seeing you make this transition to life here, because you're not like your typical expat, right? You're not like, not that there is necessarily a typical expat, but you're kind of like, you know, like a I don't know, I'm not insulting you at all. I think you said this about yourself. You're kind of like a hillbilly from West Virginia.
A hillbilly from West Virginia.
Yeah,
that's exactly.
Right. And like you're a really cool guy. You remind me a lot of like the guys I grew up with in Vermont. And you know, you don't see guys like you down here often, right? And so to watch kind of, you know, you came to the retreat and then getting to know you a little bit, and then settling, you know, helping you, or just seeing you kind of go through the process of settling in here, and watching like the Jarod I first saw pictures of when you guys were circulating them in the WhatsApp group prior to the retreat.
Yeah.
You know, you looked stressed. You had like, you know, you weren't looking as good as you do now. And then to watch that transition, kind of being down here, and we all making friends in the group, and you realizing the life that's available, and then watching you move and seeing kind of the weight lift off your shoulders, and like it's been enjoyable for me to like watch you go through this.
Thank you. It's everybody seems to notice a difference, and me as well. That's, you know, for me that's the most important one.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. It's like I found my people for some odd reason. I don't know what. I think it's kind of like a magnet or some sort. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like on the retreat, all of us are moving down here. How wild is that? Matter of fact, Kat will be here tomorrow.
Nice.
So,
I think Jay will be back in a month or so, or a little.
Yeah, he'll be back shortly too. Yeah. So,
Carol's down, Joel's down. So let's go back to early life. So did you grow up in West Virginia?
I grew up, born and raised in Morgantown.
What was it like growing up in Morgantown?
Morgantown, West Virginia. Let's see. I was raised by a single mother. Actually, it takes a village to raise a child. I was a kid that I was at everybody's house all the time because I was a latchkey kid since, you know, by the time I was 6 years old. So, Dad was never around. Yeah, so went to high school. My mom got remarried at 15. At 17, I was in the Army, and off I went.
Wow.
And
what year was that?
98.
98, okay.
Yeah, so 98 to 2005. And
So you were in the military during 9/11 and then after 9/11.
right, I was in Korea for 9/11 when it happened, and then which was a little bit nuts, and then came back, and I was in Fort Hood, Texas, and got deployed from there to Iraq and back, and then I got out from there because I wanted to, drink beer and chase women. So that's what I did in excess.
So what? But you actually saw combat action
For I was there for the invasion.
of what? Of
I was in
Afghanistan, of Iraq?
No, Iraq, and the tail end of the invasion, 4th Infantry Division. We pushed on through from Baghdad pretty much
Wow.
to the north until, farther north. But
I don't know if you like talking about that or not, but what was that like? If you want to share, if you don't, it's fine.
No, that's one of those kind of. It's just the shitty part that, it's no fun. It's, I've got good memories and bad memories. It's like anything else. It's something I'm still working through. So
Yeah.
it's.
So trauma. I mean, you're dealing with trauma.
Of
from
course.
That, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know. It's kind of it's a good thing, I guess, because it makes me normal. But I'm screwed for the rest of my life, because if not, it means I'm a sociopath. So I'm fucked either way, right? I mean, how else can you look at it? Anyways, but yeah, after that, here they say I'm, an alcoholic, but technically, I was drunk for 10 years, but it was only one binge if I stayed drunk for 10 years. So I did that whole thing and went to college, and then...
This is after the military?
This is after the military.
Okay. And did you go back to West Virginia? Or?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
After that, I stayed in Austin, Texas for a year, and then...
So do you think at that time, like some of the experiences you had, in the Middle East were like affecting you?
Right. It's pretty much textbook. You have like 18 months, 12, 18, 24 month time frame is when things start.
Yes.
When they start kicking in. And then for me, it's like, who do you talk to?
Right.
So you're by yourself, so you start drinking. So I did for a long time.
Yeah.
And then I quit that. Graduated college at 35, which, God, what the fuck was I thinking, 35? Never mind. But yeah, graduated college at 35, grad school, because isn't that fun? One of my best friends was a 20-year-old lesbian. I don't know, that's just my life.
Yeah.
That's how shit happens for me. So, yeah, I don't know. It's, after that I went to work and just couldn't find anything I liked at all. Still can't to this day. And hopping from job to job, needed something different. Yeah, I wanted a slower pace of life, and I think I found it.
But you've been sober for a while now. When did you?
I had 11 years on the first.
11 years. Wow. Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Good for you. That's not easy.
Yeah.
To kick a real habit like that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. All right, so you're still kind of switching jobs periodically for those 11 years. It sounds like.
Oh yeah.
And then you're still in West Virginia at that time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're in West Virginia. You're working. You mentioned you really hit a rough spot. You want to talk about that a little bit? What was that like? You mentioned you were homeless.
Oh yeah. I lived where I worked, so therefore they're like, that's the kind of company they want to have you by the balls, basically. So they thought it was leverage, and ended up a guy quit his job that I was qualified for. I did his job for free for 6 weeks, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do it anymore. And then they're like, yes, you are. And then they're like, you're fired. You didn't do anything for 2 weeks, right? Whatever. So fired, jobless, homeless, right? Go to a place where I thought I could stay for a while, but nope, 6 weeks there, gone again. So I've got me and my 2 dogs, all my stuff in storage, and I'm now living in a cabin in the woods with no running water, right?
Wow.
I did that for 10 months.
Wow.
And then I sold everything I had and came here.
So you came from that cabin here? Okay, I didn't
directly
know.
here.
I didn't know that.
I had more showers in this country this year than I've had, I swear to God. I was on, even in the retreat, I had more more showers
Well,
in this country than I did in
if
my
anyone
own.
on here has caught the retreat promo video we did that shows a guy fully clothed jumping
in
into
the
the
water.
river, that was Jared.
Guilty as charged.
Wow. So okay, so I didn't know that. So all right, so you're back home, you're not working, you're having a difficult time, and it was during that time that you started researching. I think, did you say Panama first?
No, I was
Nicaragua.
Nicaragua.
Sorry,
It was
Nicaragua.
Nicaragua, yeah.
And then stumbled across a video of Carl
Yeah, I was,
and ended up at the retreat.
yeah, I was like,
Wow.
well, and then this is how it happened was I started getting signs from movies, right?
Okay.
Right? So you talk about, you get signs from dogs or however
Anything,
you get
yeah.
them, numbers on the phone,
Yeah.
I'd get the same thing.
Yeah. The synchronicities.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a movie me and my best friend watch, right? Strange Wilderness in 2008. It was, back when Jonah Hill was funny and all that stuff. It was,
Yeah.
it talked about going to finding Bigfoot in Loja, Ecuador. I'm like, all right, that was it. Didn't think anything of it. All right. Then I hadn't watched a movie, Parker. It's got Jason Statham and Jennifer Lopez, right? I hadn't watched it in like 4.5 years. And where I picked up, I pressed play from where I stopped it 4.5 years before. Jason Statham goes, Ecuador, huh? I'm like, you gotta be shitting me. Right? And I'm like, okay. Then the next day, I bought another movie I'd sight unseen before called Knives Out. The main character, Marta, she's from Ecuador. I'm like, that was just, those are just the ones I can remember. It all keeps, I'm like, so I'm like, okay, let's see what goes on.
And sorry, real quick.
Go ahead.
So when those signs were happening, had you already discovered Ecuador as an option, or was that prior to that?
It was kind of in the midst of,
Okay.
like, because I was looking at Argentina, Uruguay, all through Central America.
What was your criteria? Did you?
I didn't really know. I wanted to go to a place where it's like I could be anonymous, but I'm thinking that was stupid. I'm gonna need a place where somebody speaks English.
Right.
So, like, if you have the expats, I'm okay with that. But every place I've ever gone before, there was always a divide between your expats and your local community, and I didn't really want that.
Yeah.
So just just a lone gringo, like, yeah, he's, I was okay with that.
Okay,
And,
I didn't mean to interrupt.
but
So
no,
you were
no,
getting
no.
the signs, yeah.
No, but that's kind of, yeah. So I'm getting the signs, and I don't know. I just kind of ran across it. I was fishing, because I heard you can get cheap land in South America so Costa Rica it came up for a while, and I'm like, yeah, I was looking there, and then I start like, okay, economic development and all that. And it's like, this is the place where the black sheep of the black sheep that aren't in prison come. In my opinion, you know what I mean? Nobody ties their shoes. I mean, nobody ties their shoes here. That's the kind of place I'm looking for. Everybody here's got a wild ass story about how they got here. Every single one of us. Like even the locals, like they've got some wild ass story about how they've lived their life in Vilcabamba. It's wild. And yeah, the people are so cool. They're very genuine, interested in what you had to say. Anyways.
Yeah.
Let's back up a little bit because I tend to jump around. Sorry,
No,
you
you're
got to
good.
keep me on track sometimes.
So what was it like making that decision? Because that's risky. I mean, you mentioned you're not working, you're not in a great situation. You had to sell some stuff, and you come and attended a retreat. Like you didn't know if
Right.
what it was going to be like. It takes some faith. It takes some guts. What was that decision like? Sort of what made you decide? You know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to sell this stuff. I'm going to go down, see what this place is all about. Like, what was that like?
Well, actually, it was kind of easy. It was my original intention was to book a hotel someplace in wherever I was going to go, Nicaragua originally, and find somebody who speaks English and say, hey, can you help me find an apartment to rent for whatever, for a week? And I was like, well, I could do that here with people that speak English and, have been through things. The retreat was great. I mean, we all still talk daily. Like,
yeah, the group chat.
all the time. It's like, You missed down there's 37 you've missed, unread messages.
I gave up. I can't keep up anymore.
I can't. It's hard for me too.
Yeah.
And I'm. You got.
I stayed with it for a while.
It's
because it was fun. It's fun to interact.
Yeah, it can be. But yeah, I did that. I had a great time. Like I saw Teshna, who I needed to schedule another appointment with, by the way, and yeah, things just started falling into place. Like everything, it just started happening. The only thing I had to like make sure happened was the thing with my dogs. My vet was awful.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What, like filling out the paperwork?
Right.
Huh.
Doing that because
he didn't want it.
They didn't want to, basically, and
Weird.
it was the USDA
Yeah.
paperwork and all that. They kind of forced them, like, hey, no, you need to do X, Y, and Z. The USDA was great, actually. The guy called me, said, hey, I emailed your vet, call your vet, and yeah, that was the only thing I was stressed about. But once I got my paperwork, I was good to go.
So yeah, so you came for the retreat. You flew back. You were only gone for what, a couple of months?
The retreat ended what, the 22nd
Of what month?
of April?
Of April, okay.
And I was back on the 7th of June.
So you've been back only like a month, basically.
Yeah, only a month.
A little more than a month, yeah.
Yeah.
So right around a month, yeah. Okay.
So yeah. And
yeah, you were quick.
Yeah, there was a reason for that. Finances were, if I don't make it now, I'm gonna hemorrhage way too much money.
Well, it's so expensive back home, yeah.
Yeah.
So what has this month been like for you?
Very different. Very eye-opening. Like, you meet some really cool people and have some of the weirdest conversations. Like right now, it's like I went to go get the night Ecuador played Argentina.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you go to the
for a little bit?
Park, yeah.
And that was the day I was feeling queasy. Right.
Okay.
I wasn't feeling good. Then I go to see Danny and Izzy down at Soul Bistro.
Yeah.
We saw a UFO. It was wild, right?
Oh, you saw a UFO?
Yeah, it was wild. Like, it's like, come on, you got to be shitting me. And then I was standing in the yard and I see a shooting star the same night right there. Like, you got to be kidding me. Like, I've seen 2 since I've been here. I think I've seen like 5 my entire life. Like, it's just that kind of, I don't know, just wild things are happening for me.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, well, you also, I mean, like, you're really, the people who come here and like it, in my opinion, the thing that connects them is they tend to be good-hearted, kind people, easygoing, like in terms of going with the flow. Not necessarily, you don't have to be easygoing in every aspect of your life, obviously, but just in terms of they're not people who are getting upset all the time because something goes a little left or goes a little right. They're understanding, they're willing to interact. And also willing to sort of put themselves out there a little bit. Like, I saw you at some like language exchange thing, and I've seen you at this event and that event, and you're hanging out with this place and that place and making friends and getting to know people. And you set up he's a really good guy, by the way. Like, Jarod set up a monthly donation to the local soccer program, which is a beautiful thing to do, and also integrates you more and gets you knowing people and people knowing who you are, knowing what you're all about. So it's like, you've kind of gone about moving here and integrating, in my opinion, the right way, which allows you to then enjoy life here. Like,
right. It's, yeah, like people were, well, I just started saying hi to people, like, good morning, like, hi, hello, good morning. I mean, I don't know any Spanish, but smile and wave, and like,
you're picking it up a little bit. I heard you picking it up a little bit.
Well,
you're being humble.
I'm trying. It's like, hablamos mañana. Like, I've got a little micro tienda up there, and she was broke one day or whatever, and just here, keep the 20. I don't care. And for like 3 days, she kept a running tab, and she knew exactly how much in her head. I was like, it's okay. She's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, don't worry about it. It's just, I get it. People are broke. It's like if you're, and the cool thing about it is nobody's in your ass to do the same thing. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's just super laid back. And you're right. People give you grace or the benefit of the doubt. And if you show a little bit, it's given, it's given tenfold in return, in my opinion. But
yeah, no, that's been something that I've been learning, over the years. And Brandon taught me a lot in that, and I'm learning from you about it now too. But it's like, yeah, just being a very human and being very, just being kind, being human, being understanding. I think it goes a long way anywhere in the world, but I think there's something about it here because so many people naturally who are from here are already like that. If they see that you're that way too, there's some kind of beautiful sort of thing that happens.
Okay. It's like a,
yeah.
you know what I mean? People relax when you just kind of, okay. So, I mean, not everybody's like that, but yeah,
Sure,
most of the people are like, hey, they go out of their way to say hi,
Right.
stop in their cars, like, beep, 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 how are you? That kind of stuff. It's cool.
What are some of the biggest differences between life here and life back home for you?
For me, there's not this, I'm not stressed. I'm getting stressed out because I'm not stressed out all the time about something or like the bills or you know what I mean? It's, what is kind of awkward to me is the mail system. There is none here. That's different. And I think, it can be worked on, but whatever. That's the only thing, really. I mean, I do like being able to go to my neighbor's, house and buy whatever vegetable I need to. That's, half a block away or 2 blocks away, whatever you need, right? Mm-hmm. You can go either direction and find it. Like, at home, you have to drive everywhere, right? And here you can if you want, but
You don't have to.
You don't have to at all. Like, everything's within a mile of everything. So,
Yep.
Yeah, I mean.
So I saw you and Carol and who else was with you? I think Joe, and I don't know if Joel went or not, but I think you guys hit Loja for a day, did some shopping. What was that like?
That was nice, actually. Daniel went with us.
Daniel, he drove?
Yeah, he drove.
Okay.
He drove for us. It's like the stuff I needed. He'd take us to like the furniture store. So I got a TV and I needed a couch, and so they came and they're like, "Look, you can buy this one for, $1,500 or $1,800, or we can build you one for $1,500 or $1,800." So they came and took measurements, and they're going to build me one. And Joe and Carol, we found like one of those little hole-in-the-wall chicken stops, basically, and ate. It was great. Loja's a nice. I love Loja. It's a really cool town. Like, you can find whatever you want there.
Yeah, it's a very laid-back city.
For sure, for sure. And the people there are pretty cool about the parking situation. Is a little bit different to me, but whatever. I mean.
Yeah, they did some years back. I think it started maybe in 2014 or 15. They did this whole. They called it like a regeneration project, and they got rid of a lot of parking. It used to be in Loja you could just park anywhere, no problem.
Really?
And they extended the sidewalks in a lot of places.
Okay.
It's much better looking. And they closed a couple of roads.
Right, the walking
but
streets.
The walking streets, but they made traffic a little bit of an issue. Not much. It's still a very easy city to navigate.
Yeah,
but
it's not
there's
bad
a
at
little
all.
traffic now where there didn't used to be any. And they made parking more difficult.
Yeah, but it's not. I mean, it's not bad by any means. It's like you can just park on the street. There's no meter Nazis running around, which is really cool. I like that.
Well, so the way they do that here, right? There's certain areas where you have to buy what's called a CIMERT card. It's $1.50.
Okay.
And each line represents either 15 or 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. So you mark it and you put it in your window. But if you screw up and you go over or you forget to put it, the fine is between like maybe $1 or $1.50 up to like the max one is maybe $4 or $4.50 or $3.50 if you just didn't put it at all. Mm-hmm. That's the risk.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was new too, by the way. When I first got here, if I remember correctly, I don't think they had implemented that yet. You could just park anywhere.
But $4. Of course, here $4, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think it's a multiple of about 4 or 5. So I think 4 is the equivalent of about $20, $24, something like that.
Right.
12. See, am I doing that math right? 16.20, I think is actually correct.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like $16-20. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still cheap for a parking ticket back home.
Well, yeah. Which is still extortion. I mean,
it's extortion.
Don't get me started on. Never mind.
Yeah. Well, no, that's a good point. I mean, I think a lot of us here, not everyone has different beliefs, but I think a lot of people who live here feel like that about things. They want the government a little bit less in their lives. They want a little more freedom.
Right.
Things like that.
Well, here you rely on your community more than the government any day of the week because it's just the way it is here. You know, you have to rely on your neighbor. Like, my neighbor's great. He's a groundskeeper. He's awesome, you know. And all I did was cut the grass once, and they're like,
Loves you forever.
Right, we're building you a gate and this and that. And like, okay, hey, I'm not going to complain, but I need to cut the grass again. But
that was, I mean, that was a great. So you got down here and you decided, because you wanted to, you needed to buy a push lawnmower, which you are not common here.
They're not.
So you could cut the grass.
Right, which I absolutely hate. I fucking hate cutting the grass. I do. But that man works his ass off. He would weed eat all of this.
Yeah, they cut it with a weed whacker.
With a weed eater. Yeah. I'm like, and I borrowed his weed eater. The thing is, 10 pounds heavier than it absolutely needs to be. It's a heavy machine, and it's not overly powerful, and it's hot and shitty. And I see him out there all day, and I'm like, I'll do this, so you don't have to. I'm not going to be that guy. I can't be that guy. Right. It's just I've been that guy, right?
Yeah.
I've been him. It sucks, And my last job, that was part of the rent, was cutting the grass, and I'd swing that fucking weed eater for 4 hours at a time. Oh, it was awful. Anyway, so yeah, I know what it feels like. So take a little bit off of him. Yeah. He fixed all my hot water issues. Like, my fridge was broken. He's like, the part's coming from Loja tomorrow, pretty much, and he's like, tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, bam, and he was there, 8 o'clock, 10 till 8 actually. Fixed everything, fixed the hot water. I kept blowing the line off of it. He went, got a new fittings, and then replaced the whole unit inside of there. I got hot water for days now. He didn't have to do that shit. He just, he just does it.
Yeah, it's a great, it's very indicative, and it's a great sort of lesson and insight, a little bit of goodwill here, anywhere, but just be, I say this on the pod all the time, is just like, just be a decent person, be kind, be nice.
Yeah, don't be a dick is pretty universal across the planet. Yeah. Like, if you can, even when other people are being a dick, just kind of, hey, sorry, go about your
And it's true,
day.
It's anywhere,
Like,
but it's cool that you're kind of seeing how that,
because
the culture here really appreciates that kind of attitude.
Well, I don't think they see it very much, though.
Amongst gringos, you mean?
Right, amongst gringos. It's like, oh, do this for me, do that for me.
Which
don't get me wrong, there's some things where I need help, and I'm willing to pay somebody to please do this for me, please do that for me, because, well, if you don't swim, you stay the fuck out of the pool, right? Anyways, sorry, I can't say.
You're all good.
All right, my bad. Anyways, areas where I know I need help, yes, I'll ask for help, but, what I can do for somebody else so they don't have to, it's just kind of, I live here now, I'm going to take ownership like it's my place, kind of. Yeah.
So what has your experiences been like so far, with the expats that live here, with the foreigners?
Some good, some kind of like, wow, you're way too wound up or stressed out for me. You're putting all your, and then it's my fault because I let it affect me. But it's like, I was having a good day. Please stop talking. Yeah. Sometimes, but for the most part, people are well intentioned. It's just, they have verbal vomit and just can't shut up. I'm like, there's a mute button, please. I got frequencies so much, But I'm guilty of the same thing. I talk people's ear off sometimes, and that, I do it too. So, yeah. But most of the expats I've met they're pretty decent. From wherever they're from. Like all the expats that are cooks that are here, bring their A game.
Yeah.
They certainly do. Like, I don't even like vegetarian food, but I've been killing dumplings and noodles,
so
man.
I've been
killing it.
What's your favorite thing there?
I really like I do like the dumplings, the classic dumplings.
Classic dumplings are great.
And their chow mein is.
Oh, that's new. I don't think I've tried that.
Oh, you gotta try it. The noodles are like this meaty al dente type.
Yeah, well, and they make them in house.
Right, and you can tell it's like. It's really good. I bought some of their. She's got like a chili oil.
Yeah, it's really good.
I bought some. I was like, yeah, it goes in
So
some
that's
breakfast.
Belen, the owner. We have interviewed her on the channel,
Okay.
so people can check that out.
Yeah,
But,
she's really good.
try the vegetable soup if you haven't.
Okay, I'll try that.
Not the one with the noodles, the one without the noodles.
Okay,
I don't know why, but it's just better.
Okay.
It's really good. It's like a little bit spicy. I think it sounds like you like spicy.
Yeah. I like enough because a little bit of that chili's just kind of a little pea size in your food, and it's
delicious.
Right, you can still have the flavor and the heat as well. It's not that like, I mean, because you can, if you get enough, it's one of those, I can't taste anything but fire, you know.
Right.
You got to put as Jay would say, put your toilet paper in the freezer. Right? Yeah. Shout out, Jay.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
But,
no.
But yeah,
all right.
It's one of those. But I'm trying to think, every place I've gone to, I haven't really had a bad meal yet. I mean, it's,
yeah,
you know, some flavors are just not for me.
For you, yeah.
But, yeah.
And I don't think you've tried, we at the other day, we had a team lunch at the, it's called El Rincón de Devora. It's the place I was telling you about that has great ceviche. Oh, and I also had their shrimp empanado the other day. That was phenomenal. Yeah.
That sounds
So it's
great.
a family from Manabí, from the coast.
Oh, okay.
And they bring those flavors, and it's totally different.
Manabí,
it's really good.
Okay, yeah. Okay. That's all really cool, though. Yeah, that's. I like
I'm gonna take you. I'm gonna take you. We'll go have lunch over there.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
Let me ask you, like, what's let's start here. What's the biggest surprise? What's the biggest shock to you about life here, or your experience so far?
How easy it is to integrate. Like if you're just willing to talk to people, or, you know, yeah, people are very receptive, you know. And a shock too is kind of the expat gossip. Like,
yeah,
like, guys, it's, well, you're just like perpetuating this whole cycle of, come on, you could. Bad things happen to good people, I understand, but it's just this whole crazy, in my opinion, and I don't really want to get involved in that kind of stuff, but yeah, it's like there's other things to do in life, like
then talk about other people,
right? or you know, I mean, it's okay to talk about events. Hey, did you hear about this? And I'll know what happened. X, Y, Z. Okay, well, move on, right? Yeah, I understand that, but not. Whatever. It's whatever. It's okay though. I mean, it's just part of life you got to deal with.
No, it's true. The Vilcabamba rumor mill amongst the expats, amongst the foreigners, gringos, is intense. It's always been that way. It's kind of gotten a little bit better, actually.
Really?
Yeah, there was a period of time where, for me, I almost stayed out of Vilcabamba just because there was so much of that going on.
Really? That sucks.
Years ago. But yeah, for me, this place became better and better and cooler starting in like 2020, and just continues to just more awesome people keep coming.
That's cool, man.
Some of the sort of angrier, less happy types have left, so there's less of them, and there's way more cool people,
which is great.
Yeah,
exactly.
But and I get it too. Like it's you're in the state you're in. It's okay if you feel negative about things, but it's just like I don't want to hear about it either. Like,
right. It's like, and I understand people had that, but like, everybody's got their own stuff. If it's one thing if I ask, like, hey, you feeling okay? Right. It's another thing just.
Right.
I feel like one of the South Park episodes where somebody throws up. Right, that's kind of like my shoes, bro. Thank you. That's kind of how I, sometimes. I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick about it. It's just kind of, move on. But I mean, that's just, it's just kind of. I've always had like other things to do. Just me. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude or dismissive of anybody's thoughts, but just not my cup of tea, I suppose.
What you got any tips or advice for folks who are thinking about this place? Or words of warning or anything else?
Yes. Use if you're going to make sure you give yourself enough time for your visa application process, and make sure you don't have to rely on anyone else to do that. If you bring in pets, ask for help, because you're going to need it. kind of daunting task.
Did you use the pet service guy that we recommend?
Did, yeah.
How was he? Was he good?
He was great. He was great. Everything he said, was right on the money, and I couldn't have done it without him. Like, because he made check this, and I did, and he was right every single time.
He's pretty. So. He didn't charge a lot.
It was like $40 per animal, right?
Per animal, yeah.
Which is, and he's warning me about, hey, you need this for this upcoming law, this and that, like. Yeah,
and how are you doing on the visa? Have you gotten it yet, or are you still in process?
It's still in process. For the USA apostille, looks like their website's dead, but I called them, and they're like minimum 5 weeks. So that puts me at like.
So you're waiting on the FBI apostille.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The FBI apostille, okay. And then I've got it. So I've got another probably week before that gets done, a week before it gets here, and then Joseph is taking it from there. So.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, I'm in process. So.
All right. Anything else for folks out there? Anything we haven't touched on that you want to cover?
I don't know. Like, is the green screen doing okay?
I heard. Here's another thing. I got to tell this really quick. So, when I met Jarod, you look different, man. You had like some more blue and kind of bags under your eyes. And
I was hurting all the time.
Stressed. Your skin didn't look as good. You just kind of looked different.
I did.
And I see you, and it was really fun for me, like getting to know you a little bit, because I can be a little bit guarded sometimes. I kind of take my time with people,
which is understandable.
Yeah. So I started to pay attention to you a little bit during the retreat, and I realized, like, oh my gosh, this guy's hilarious. Number one, like, I started really appreciating your humor, but I enjoyed watching you sort of just start looking better over the course of that, that 9 days or whatever it was. And then when you came back, you're telling me, because you're drinking Coca-Cola and you're doing this kind of stuff, and you came back and you're telling me, you got these orange trees, which maybe the camera's picking up. Probably that one has some good ones up there, but there's some over here too.
Over there behind yours.
Oh, those are great ones over there. Yeah, that's a huge one. You're telling me, you're drinking the fresh squeezed orange juice. You told me one day, you're like, I'm going to Loja to get a juicer because I got all these oranges.
I did. I was going to juice before you guys got here to get some orange juice, but I didn't have enough oranges. I've got to get so many before I can make my pitcher, right?
Oh, you go for the pitcher, nice.
Right. Yeah, I've got 2 pitchers, but yeah, I'm doing it, and it's helped a lot. I've cut down on it quite a bit.
Yeah. No, I was giving you a hard time jokingly about the Coca-Cola one day, and you're like, well, I ran out of orange juice.
I did. I did, because I was smashing. I'm like, oh, this is so good. Oh, I've got another pitcher. No, I don't.
You know what's really good that I do sometimes? I'll do the fresh squeezed orange juice, and then I'll buy a Guitig, and then I'll mix them. It's delicious. It's like, it's soda-like.
No, I know exactly what you're talking. It's nice and light.
Yeah, it's nice and light, yeah.
Danny made me something like that, kind of like a nice light, like a breakfast kind of, I don't know, like a light meal, something that you have in the afternoon, like when it's hot out, kind of, yeah.
Yep.
And with ice, it's really great. Some of the juices and things are very unique. The horchata was different for me, and it's the kombucha, that's different. Yeah. The Coke is different. Like, you can get the regular stuff, but you can get glass bottles. And if you get a big glass bottles, they give you a cup. And like, you ain't leaving with that bad boy, because I tried, and they said no. Anyways, the little ones will let you leave with. But yeah, it's real sugar. It's how Coke should be. Like,
yeah. We don't have orange trees where we live, but we buy a lot of oranges for the orange juice as well. We juice just about every morning and put them in a smoothie or something like that. And yeah, I mean, just for people out there watching this, depending on the time of year, but for your local organic, from right here, oranges, you're gonna be anywhere from about 8 to like 30 for $1. Which is, pretty reasonable. Usually it takes anywhere from, like, for a glass of orange juice for the oranges here, usually you have to juice maybe 5 of them, something like that, for a glass. A pitcher, obviously more, but
right. I'm about, if you want a big glass, it's about 12 to 15 for like a juice factory size glass of oranges.
Oh, okay.
Is what I figured from just whatever. Cool. But it's cool. My neighbors all these oranges just go to ground, so I can just go and pick them up, and they're like, whatever.
Yeah,
so
yeah. No,
it's
fruits
awesome.
here have almost no value. They're
Which is, I know, but it's awesome though, because how much you pay for that in the States?
Right,
Like
exactly.
it's disgusting. Yeah. Like durability of goods, it's like an apple, it's like 3 millimeters to bite through this plastic sheath that it has on it, and then it disintegrates in your mouth like this, like a cement mixer from the fucking bar. Like, it's gross. It's just, the fruits and veggies are not like that at all. Everything here is like how things should be. It's simple. Yeah. Like me and Joel and Carol, in Joel's housewarming deal or whatever, it was chips, salt, onions, and tomatoes, and it was delicious. It was just simple. There was nothing to it, and it was delicious.
It's a good quality.
Because everything that, all the fruits and vegetables aren't, this, how fast can we make it,
Right.
I don't make it, head of lettuce in 18 days kind of shit.
Right.
Yeah, that's not how it's done.
Well,
so.
I'll leave it here. Before we do, I'll tell one last, just because we're on the topic. So my kids practically, they love bananas. They practically live on bananas. When we went to the States for last year for Christmas, stopped at the grocery store, bought some bananas from Ecuador. My son loves banana. I hand him the banana, takes a bite. Oh, I peeled it for him. He takes a bite, looks at it, hands it back to me, and says, "That's not a banana." They won't touch them in the States. They will not touch the bananas in the States. They eat probably 2 to 5 a day here. Easy.
Really?
They won't touch them in the States.
Where do you get your bananas? Because
we get them just from the local stores or the market on Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's one thing I like about here too, the Saturday market. Yeah. Everybody's out everywhere, which is awesome. And you don't, maybe at the co-op occasionally you see that in the States, but everybody's fighting for parking again. And,
yeah, I mean, the tip on bananas, if you want the healthiest ones, is just to get the ones that are not from the coast and to get the ones that are from here. Right. They don't spray here, they're all clean. Right. The ones from the coast, they're still really good. But, it's a little more contaminated than,
Right, which,
whatever. All right, well, Jarod, I appreciate it, man. I thoroughly enjoyed this.
Thanks, bud.
Always good hanging with you.
No problem, man.
Thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate it. Hit the like button if you like this beautiful face. Subscribe to the channel.
Tortured souls.
Hit the bell. We'll talk to you guys again soon. Have a great day.
Thanks. Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel here. For real estate videos, click here. For content you're going to absolutely love, right here. And to find out how these crazy guys got to Ecuador, click right here.